What does it take for a 12-year-old immigrant from Ukraine to become a successful American attorney? Not a straight path, not a planned journey, just courage, hard work, and a willingness to follow where life leads. My name is Marina, and in this video, I want to share my story with you. Because if you're an immigrant, if you ever felt like certain dreams weren't meant for you, if you ever thought your accent or your background would hold you back, I want you to hear this. My story is proof that none of that has to stop you. I became an attorney in America. I built a firm. I changed lives. And it all started with a girl who just wanted to help people. Let me take you back to the beginning. I came to the United States at the age of 12 from Ukraine. I was an immigrant, just like so many of the people I represent today. I went to high school here, learned the language, found my footing, and eventually made it to college at NYU in New York City. But when I arrived, I didn't dream of becoming a lawyer. I never debated in school. I never did any public speaking. I never even thought about the legal world, not once. Why? Because English was not my first language, and in my mind, being an attorney in America just wasn't something that was possible for someone like me. I didn't think it was in the cards. So instead, I had a completely different dream, one that I held on to for years before life had other plans for me. Growing up, I always wanted to be a doctor, and not just because it seemed like a respectable career. It was deeply personal. I had asthma as a child, and I saw doctors as almost holy figures, people with the power to save lives, to take away pain, to give someone their life back. That image stayed with me. I wanted to be that person. I wanted to save people. I wanted to help people. That feeling of wanting to make a difference, that was always inside me, even back then. So when I got to college, I went full pre-med. I studied biology and chemistry. I followed the path. I did everything I was supposed to do. But slowly, over time, something became very clear to me. And it wasn't the answer I was hoping for. As I went deeper into my pre-med studies, the biology, the chemistry, all the exact sciences, I started to realize something uncomfortable. This wasn't for me. I wasn't bad at it. I wasn't failing. I was doing okay. But I wasn't thriving. I wasn't lighting up. The subjects that were supposed to excite me just didn't. I wasn't naturally wired for the hard sciences the way you need to be to truly excel in medicine. And that was a really difficult thing to accept, because this had been my dream for so long. I had built my entire identity around becoming a doctor. Letting go of that was painful. But looking back, I'm so grateful I was honest with myself early enough, because something else was quietly waiting for me. Something I hadn't even considered yet. While I was going through all of this in college, still studying pre-med, still figuring out my direction, I was also working part-time at a law office as a paralegal. And something interesting started happening. The people I worked with began telling me, "Marina, you're really good at this. You have a natural instinct for this work. You should seriously think about law school." At first, I honestly didn't know what to make of it. I assumed that to become a lawyer, you needed to have been a pre-law major, or studied history, or political science, something specific and directly related. But I started asking questions and doing my research. And I learned something that genuinely surprised me. There is no required undergraduate major for law school. You can study anything and still apply. That changed everything. Once I found out that my biology degree wouldn't hold me back from law school, I decided to give it a real shot. I signed up for the LSAT, the law school admission test. And here's what surprised me the most. It felt different from everything I had been struggling through in pre-med. Studying for the LSAT didn't feel like a fight. It didn't feel like I was forcing myself to absorb material that wasn't clicking. I did well, and compared to the intense, grueling studying I had put into my biology coursework, the preparation felt almost natural. That told me something. When you're aligned with what you're actually built for, things flow differently. It doesn't mean it's easy, but it clicks in a way that feels right. My LSAT score was good enough to open some very serious doors. I got into law school, and not just any law school. I got into Fordham Law School, which is a top-tier school. Now, here's where I made a decision that I later looked back on with mixed feelings. I had also been accepted at Seton Hall in New Jersey, and they offered me a full scholarship. Full. Tuition covered. But it was a Tier 3 school. The people around me, colleagues, mentors, everyone said the same thing. Go Tier 1. The name matters. The connections matter. Go to Fordham. So I turned down the full scholarship and enrolled at Fordham at full price. And I want to be honest with you. That decision turned into a massive amount of student loan debt that followed me for years. Looking back, the free school might have been the smarter financial choice, but I became a lawyer, and that part I don't regret. After graduating from law school, I quickly realized the path ahead wasn't going to be straightforward. I didn't walk into a big corporate law firm. I didn't fit the typical mold. My background was different. My journey was different. I hadn't been pre-law. I couldn't confidently answer the classic interview question of, what kind of law do you want to practice? Because honestly, I didn't know yet. And that uncertainty made the early days challenging. But instead of forcing a direction, I let life guide me. I started in real estate law, which gave me a solid foundation. Then I moved into business law. And then, almost organically, immigration cases started coming my way. And the moment I started working in immigration law, something shifted inside me. Something I hadn't felt before clicked into place. When I first started handling immigration cases, I was doing mostly paperwork, research, forms, filings. That part I could manage. But then came the day I had to go to court. And I want to be real with you. I was terrified. I was shy. Public speaking was not something I was comfortable with at all. I stood in that courtroom, and I was nervous, emotional, overwhelmed. Judges yelled at me. I cried. It hit my confidence hard. It hit my ego. There were moments where I genuinely questioned whether I could do this. But I kept pushing. I kept showing up. I kept trying. And slowly, court by court, case by case, something began to change. The fear started to loosen its grip. And what replaced it was something I never expected, a deep, genuine love for this work. I fell in love with immigration law. And I mean that completely. Not just as a career, as a purpose. Because immigration law isn't just paperwork and court appearances. It's about people. Real people with real fears and real families and real dreams. I get to connect with my community. I get to be a bridge for people who came to this country the same way I did, with hope and uncertainty and everything on the line. Winning a case for an immigration client isn't just a legal victory. It's watching someone breathe again. It's taking the fear out of someone's eyes, turning someone from a person who's constantly looking over their shoulder, afraid of the police, afraid of being deported, into someone who holds a green card or becomes a citizen. That transformation is extraordinary. That's why I do this. Here's something I think about often. When I was young, I wanted to become a doctor because I wanted to help people. I wanted to take away pain. I wanted to change lives. I chose medicine because of that impulse, that deep desire to make people's lives better. And now, as an immigration attorney, I realize I'm doing exactly that, just not with a stethoscope. I do it with the law. I take fear away from people. I give them stability, safety, and a future. I help them build a life in this country without constantly living in fear. Everything I wanted to do as a doctor, the healing, the protecting, the saving, I do it every single day in the courtroom and the conference room. The path changed completely. The purpose never did. One of the things I'm most proud of, and it didn't happen overnight, is the team I've built around me. It took years. Years of trial and error, of learning what kind of people this work truly demands. Because immigration law is serious work. The stakes are high. A mistake doesn't just lose a case, it can change someone's entire life, separate a family, or get someone deported. So I needed people who weren't just technically skilled, but who genuinely cared. People who understood the gravity of what we do every single day. People who are sharp, thoughtful, deeply involved, and truly committed. Today, I'm proud to say I have that team. A group of like-minded professionals who show up every day with the same level of dedication and care that this work deserves. We built something real together. Then COVID hit, and like every business, every law firm, every organization in the world, we were forced to stop, reassess, and completely rethink the way we operated. It was one of the most difficult periods of my career. We had to rebrand. We had to redesign our entire workflow. We had to figure out how to serve clients, handle cases, and appear in proceedings, virtually and remotely, in ways we had never done before. It was uncomfortable. It was stressful. But we did it. And what came out the other side was actually stronger than what we had before. We became more efficient, more organized, and far more flexible than we ever had been. Sometimes the hardest disruptions push you to become a better version of what you already were. That's exactly what COVID did for our firm. Before COVID, I'll be honest, working across all 50 states felt overwhelming to me. It felt like too much risk, too much complexity, too many unknowns. I was cautious about it. But through the process of going fully virtual and remote, something shifted. We adapted. We built the systems. We developed the processes. And now, we work in all 50 states. We handle cases from coast to coast. We win in every state we operate in. What once felt like an impossible expansion became a natural evolution of how we work. And the best part? Our clients benefit from it enormously. It doesn't matter where you are in America, whether you're in California, Texas, New York, or anywhere in between. We can represent you. Geography is no longer a barrier to getting quality legal help. Here's something law school never teaches you. Running a law firm is not just about being a good lawyer, it's about being a good leader, a good manager, a good CEO. And that's exactly what I've had to become. I am an attorney, yes, but I am also the chief executive of a business. I manage a team, make strategic decisions, oversee operations, handle growth, and think about the long-term vision of this firm every single day. I had to learn skills that had nothing to do with law: marketing, operations, technology, leadership, culture building. And I genuinely love that part of the work too. Building something that lasts, something that runs well, something that people are proud to be part of, that's a whole other kind of fulfillment. I'm a CEO first and an attorney second, and I've made peace with that. I want to be very clear about what we stand for as a firm, because it's not just about winning cases, it's about something bigger. We represent immigrants. We advocate for their rights. We believe that America has always been at its best when it has been welcoming, fair, and open. We don't just want to make America great. We want to make America good. Good to immigrants. Good to people who came here with nothing and built everything. Good to families who deserve safety and stability and a real future. That is the mission behind every single case we take on, every form we file, every courtroom we walk into. We are here to make sure that the immigrants of this country are protected, respected, and given the fair chance they came here searching for. If you are an immigrant living in the United States without legal status, I need to say this as clearly as possible. Now is the time to act. Not tomorrow. Not when things settle down. Now. The immigration landscape is more complex and more unpredictable than ever before. And trying to navigate it alone, without proper legal guidance, is one of the biggest mistakes you can make. Without a lawyer, you are stuck. Paperwork gets rejected. Deadlines get missed. Opportunities close. And the consequences of those mistakes can be devastating and long-lasting. Having a qualified immigration attorney in your corner changes everything. It gives you a clear path forward. It gives you protection. It gives you options you didn't even know you had. Please don't wait until you're in a crisis. Get help now. I see it every single day in the eyes of my clients when they first walk through our door or join our first video call. Fear. A constant, exhausting background fear that never fully goes away. Fear of the police. Fear of checkpoints. Fear of a knock on the door. Fear of being separated from their children. Fear of being sent back to a country they barely remember. That fear is real. I know it. Because I came to this country as an immigrant too. And I want you to know that you don't have to keep living that way. You deserve to walk through your life without that weight on your shoulders. That's what legalizing your status does. It doesn't just give you a document. It gives you back your peace of mind. And that is priceless. I became an immigration attorney because of who I am and where I came from. I am an immigrant. I understand what it means to start over in a new country, to not speak the language perfectly, to not feel like you fully belong, to wonder if the big dreams are really meant for someone like you. And because of all of that, I have a personal connection to every single client I represent. This isn't just my job. This is my calling. When I win a case, I don't just feel professional satisfaction. I feel something much deeper. Because I know what that victory means for that family, for that person, for their future. I made a promise to myself a long time ago to use whatever I built to serve the people who need it most. That promise still guides everything I do. If you are an immigrant in America and you are ready to take control of your future, we are here for you. Our firm works across all 50 states. We handle all types of immigration cases. We have a dedicated, experienced, and deeply caring team that is ready to fight for you. You don't need to keep living in fear. You don't need to keep putting this off. You don't need to figure this out alone. Legalizing your status is one of the most important steps you will ever take, for yourself and for your family. And having the right legal team by your side makes all the difference. We have helped hundreds of people transform their lives, from fear and uncertainty to green cards, citizenship, and freedom. Now it's your turn. Call us today. We are ready for you.